right, so like I said yesterday, Thursday, open notes tests. Yeah. And I said big things that are going to be on there are matrices. So you want to get all of your notes on matrices together, any practice questions we've done on matrices. If you want to print out manipulating matrices at some point, so you have that program to look at, you can do that too. Searching. Those 40 minutes of notes we took yesterday, that's the bulk of what's on the test. So everything we did yesterday is definitely on there. Make sure you have those notes for you in today's packet, some of that stuff. And then string methods. And string methods was like substring and index of and that stuff. Never been tested on that, but that was in Magpie, that Magpie lab that you did. So if you wanted to print that out too, you could also do that. Yep. Yep. Okay, so you want to make sure you have all those notes together for your test on Thursday. The string method stuff that I wanted to remind you of real quick here. Let's say I had string, we'll call it S, and make it, I know I've used this one before, strawberry. And before the string methods that we did, I asked for S dot index of berry, what would that return? Five. Remember, it gives you the first index or first instance of berry in the word strawberry. So if you just count along, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's in space 5. If I asked for S dot substring, four, what would that give me? W berry, right? So it would start at space 4 and go all the way to the end. I could also just ask for a certain section of it. So sometimes you might see S dot substring. If I did 4, comma 7, let's say. What would that give you? Good, WBE. Remember the annoying thing with that one is, what does 7 represent? Last one, and the first one that you don't include. You don't include that last one. So this is the first index not included. Just because of how that's written. All right, so that's those type of things in a quick review, and you'll see those come up in the questions today. So first one is kind of like those examples I was doing at the end of class yesterday with binary search. So they give you the whole code for binary search here, and key is just a value you're looking for. Read the comments ahead of time here. It says, does binary search for key in the array from A bracket 0 to A bracket 8 at length minus 1, sorted in ascending order. Remember that was a precondition for binary search. It has to be in order, low to high. And this is essentially the entire code we wrote yesterday, no difference. So it says a binary search will be performed on the following list. So here's the array with the corresponding values stored in it. To find the key value of 27, the search interval after the first pass through the while loop would be what? So remember how this works. Initially, low would have to be equal to, what's low always equal to initially? 0, because that's where the lowest spot is. For this particular array, what would high be set equal to? 7. It's always the last spot in the array. That's what a.length minus 1 would do. So after the first pass through the while loop, here's your while loop. First thing is mid equals low plus high divided by 2. So mid's equal to 0 plus 7 divided by 2. So that means mid's going to come out to be 3. So here's low, high, mid. It's going to check if a bracket mid, so if a bracket 3 is looking for key, and I said the key value is 27. So I'm looking at middle spot, it's 11. I'm looking for 27. Obviously, those aren't the same. So if I'm looking for 27 and I see that this is 11, even without looking at the code, what side of the middle do you want to look at? The right side or the left side? It's got to be in the right. So if 11's in the middle and I'm looking for 27, it's got to be over here somewhere. So it should make sense that low is what's going to change. If the middle value is less than the key, which is what we have here, low equals mid plus 1. So low is going to become 3 plus 1, or 4. So now this is low. High didn't change. So high is still 7. Nothing changed there. And that's all this question's asking for. Search interval after the first pass through is from 4 to 7. So I should have gotten C. Yep. Questions on number 9? Okay, number 10. How many iterations will be required to determine that 27's not in the list? All right, well, we've already got the beginning stuff. We had that the first iteration through, mid was 3, low became 4, high was still 7. Remember, the way binary search works is it keeps going while low is less than or equal to high. So low is 4 right now, high is 7. We can keep going until those crisscross over each other. Second time through, first thing that happens in the while loop every time is mid gets set equal to its new mid value. So low plus high divided by 2, 4 plus 7 divided by 2, what's mid going to be? 5. 11 divided by 2 is 5. So mid's here right now. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm still looking for 27. A bracket mid is 24. 24 is less than 27. So that would tell me if this is the only section in the array I was looking at, 24 is still less than what I care about. I want to look on the right side of that middle value or the left side of that middle value. Right side. Now I'm only looking over here. Since the middle value is less than 27, low equals mid plus 1 again. So low is going to become 6. High is still 7. That didn't change. Third time through, what's mid going to end up being this time? Also 6. Here's mid again. That's what I'm comparing. A bracket mid equal to 27. Obviously not, but this time it's bigger. So if the middle value is bigger than what you're looking for, the else happens and high changes. So high's going to change to mid minus 1. High's going to become 5, that means. Low is still 6. And what just happened? Error, because low is not smaller than high anymore. So that would make your while loop stop running, and now you turn -1 because that means 27 is not in the list. So the question was how many iterations of the while loop had to happen, and there were 3. None of the other ones really make sense at all. Like, obviously more than one time through. 8's way too high because there's only 8 numbers in the array, and 27 is totally ridiculous. You're never going to get an infinite loop. Questions there? Just got to know how binary search works. All from yesterday. Okay, last one of these types. What will be stored in Y after executing the file? Or following. Int Y equals binary search 4. This is a soup-ease question, and somehow people still miss this every year in the quiz. Bind search 4. What's it going to return? What? 0. Why would it return 0? Right. All you have to look at is where is 4? It's in space 0, so 0 is the answer. I'm searching for 4. That's where it was. Okay. That was all yesterday's stuff. Now you're going to see some older stuff with those string methods. It says consider the following program segment. String S1 is race car, string S2 is car, and I want system.out.print S1.index of S2. Think about it for a second. What's the answer? Should be getting D equals 4. Remember what index of does. It's looking for where is, in this place, car in race car. Where does it start? And it starts at space 4, so 4 is the answer. Number 5 down here. Consider the following program segment. So string S1 is race car, string S2 is an empty string to begin with. For loop, don't get deceived how it's written. The only thing happening in the for loop is that substring, and we only print out one thing at the end, and it's trickier to see when they don't give you those brackets. But remember, if there's no brackets, it only does the one line inside the for loop. So this only prints once. At the end. So just based off of where that system.out.print is, which ones can you definitely get rid of? Right, D and E are definitely out. So if it's only printing one time, you can't have multiple lines printing out. Okay, so this is doing a substring, and it's always starting from 0 and going up to K. So first time it runs, we'd have S2 equals S1 dot substring 0, 1. We talked about how substring works again. That means I start at space 0, and space 1 is the first spot I don't want. So if I kind of list out the spaces for race car here, that means S2 is going to equal what? Just R. 0 is the first one I want, and 1 is the first one I don't want, so that's just R. But the problem is, it gets saved as S2, and then nothing prints out. And then the next time through, S2 gets rewritten, and as S1 dot substring 0, 2. And that would equal what? RA. Space 2, that C is the first one I don't want, so I get RA. But again, that totally overwrote this first one, and the next time through, that's going to get overwritten. So really, the only thing that matters is what is this going to end up being the last time through, and then what's going to print out. So last time through, we'll have S2 dot equals S1 dot substring going from 0. What's K going to be the last time through? What's it? I heard two different answers. 6. What's S1 dot length equal to? That's equal to 7. There's 7 letters, but if it's strictly less than, the last thing it's going to ever be is 6. So S1 dot substring 0, 6 is going to give you what? Race car, right? Boston race car. Because 6 is the first one you don't want, so R is not going to print out, and it's A, race car. Questions on that one? Right. Hold Consider the following method. It says public static string. Don't worry about the static. Just think of it like a public string. String S, there's something happening. Precondition is S is not equal null, so that means there's something in your string. It's not empty. It wants to know what string value is returned by the call for this method and sending it aardvark. Okay, so this time I see a plus equals. And remember that's called the string concatenation operator, which is a fancy word for just saying it's how you keep adding on to a string. It's going to keep piecing on different letters, different values, whatnot. Since I have a plus equals, it does matter what everyone is this time, as opposed to the last one that was just equals and just keep overwriting it every time. This was going to keep adding on to it. All right, so K is going to start at s.length minus 1. So if aardvark is my string, that's the S value that I'm getting sent over. You probably want to figure out what all those spots are. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means K is going to start at, it's s.length minus 1. What would K start at? 7. There's 8 letters, minus 1 is 7. When I see K is greater than or equal to 0 and K minus minus, what's that doing? Going down. All right, and then the first time through, we have T plus equals S dot substring. And I'm sending it K, which is 7, and K plus 1, which is 8. So that means starting at spot 7, spot 8's the first one I don't want. And that's actually not an error because there is no spot 8. That's okay. So if the first spot I want is 7 and I don't want spot 8, what's that going to give me? Just K. All right. Okay, then K is going to go down by 1. So now K is 6. So now that would give me S dot substring 6, 7. And that would give me R. But it's plus equals. So that means that K is still there, and now it added on an R to it. And that's going to keep going. So when I go 5, 6, it's going to add on, starting from space 5, I don't want 6, it's going to add on A. So it's going to keep tacking on another letter all the way until I get down to, as long as K is greater than or equal to 0. So when K is 0, it's going to give me 0, 1. 0, 1 is going to be what? That first A. So it's going to give me everything I have all the way down to that first A. So in the end, what's your answer? Grab draw. Exactly. It just does aardvark backwards. Questions on that one? Okay. Still using aardvark. Similar idea, but this time I'm doing plus equals. I'm still going down. This time I'm starting P plus equals S dot substring, S dot length minus 1, S dot length. Take a minute and see if you can figure out which one this one would be. Still doing aardvark. All right, what are people thinking? C's, any other answers? C's, C's. Yep, let's see. Because the only difference at all is what's here and here. So if it's aardvark, s dot length minus 1 is equal to 7. S dot length is equal to 8. So the k value isn't changing like it was last time when I had k and k plus 1. So this is just always t plus equals s dot substring 7, 8, which is always k. So it's going to just keep adding on k's. You're going to end up with C. Questions? Okay, this one's a little trickier. What are the rules for converting English to Pig Latin states? If a word begins with a consonant, move the consonant to the end of the word and add a. Thus, dog becomes ogday and Chris becomes rispke. Suppose S is a string containing an English word that begins with a consonant. Which of the following creates the correct corresponding word in Pig Latin? Assume these declarations. So A string is going to be called A. Then I'm going to have this pig string. I want to know which one's going to make it into the correct word. So why don't you use one of the examples they give you? So they give you dog. So say S is dog. Your goal is to turn that into ogday. So look at your options. Take 2 or 3 minutes and see if you can figure out which one would end up being ogday. Okay, looks like most people are close to an answer on this one. And as you can see how the signs are picked up, think about them in terms of 3 kind of stages. I've got to get from the second letter to the end. That's the first thing. It goes right here. And then I've got to tack on the first letter. That's right here. And I've got to add that AY on the end of it. So all of them do the last thing. They all end the AY on the last part of it. So that's not really going to help. It comes down to which one gets me from the first or second letter to the end, and which gives me the first letter. So the first one, part A here, choice A, starts at 0 and goes to s dot length. If I'm using dog, what's s dot length equal to? 3. So substring 0, 3 would give me 0. 3 is the first one I don't want. So this would give me all of dog. And I only want OG. So A is no good. The second one starts at spot 1 and goes to 3 is the first one I don't want. So that gives me the OG that I need. So that's good. And then substring 0, 0. 0 is the first one I want, but then 0 is the first one I don't want. So what would 0, 0 give me? Nothing. It'd give me an empty string. I need that to be D. So that's why that one doesn't work. But the first part did work. So the second, or choice C is not going to be any good, because starting from space 0 and going to space 2, that would give me DO, which I don't need. This would go from space 1 and 2 is the first one I don't want, so that would just give me O, so that's no good. So E is the only option there is. E gives me that OG part that I needed, but now from this 0, 1, that would give me the D that I need, because it gives me 0 and 1's the first spot I don't want. So that's why it's E. Questions on that one? Okay, last page. This question refers to the getString method shown below. So I've given two strings, S1 and S2. Index is going to equal S1.index of S2. So I'm looking for where is S2 in S1. And then I return substring from that index, and then that index plus the length of S2. So these are trickier now because they have those 1, 2, 3 options. What is true about getString? It may return a string that's equal to S2. Okay, well, let's think about what's going on here. This looks like I've got a word that's got another word within it. So something like if I had race car, a compound word, and car. If that's S1, that's S2. Then for that example, index would equal where is S2 in S1? So I'd go and look, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So index would equal 4, because that's where car starts in S1. Then the substring would go from 4 plus S2.length, and the length of S2 is 3. So 4 plus 3, that's 7. So S1.substring 4, 7. If I finish this off, this is 5, 6. So starting from 4, 7's the first one I don't want, would give me car back. So it's basically taking the second word out of the first word. So which is true about getString? It may return a string that's equal to S2. That's what just happened. It returned a string that's equal to S2. So 1 is definitely good. 2 says it has no characters in common with S2. Well, based off the example I just did, that's a counterexample because it has all the characters in common. So it's definitely not 2. 3 is the tricky one. It says it's equal to S1. That's not what this is intending to do, but can you think of any possibility, because it just says may return, can you think of any possibility where it would return something that was equal to S1? If they're the same word, right. If I sent race and race as S1 and S2, then the index that it calculates, where is race in race, index it calculates is 0, and then S1.substring, starting from space 0, going to index plus the length, so the length of S2 is 4, so 0 plus 4 would be 0, 4. In S1, I'd start at 0, 4 is the first one I don't want, I'd get race back. All of a sudden, I got something that is equal to S1. So 3 does work in that special case, even though that's not the intended value or intended purpose of the method, probably. It says it may return a string, so that is possible. So 1 and 3 is A. So be careful with those 1, 2, 3 ones, especially when words like may pop up. All right, 14. Consider the two methods. Given a string, return s.substring 1, then return s.substring 1, s.length. It says for which values of s is the same value returned by both methods. Only whenever s is a string with one character. For all string values of s, only when s has an odd number of characters. For no string values for s, only when the string values of s are palindrome. It has the same frontwards and backwards. Let's test it out again. Make up a value for s. Race car. See what happens. Indices are important. So this first method is going to return s.substring 1. what's that going to return? Ace car. So starting from 1 and going to the end. Because when there's nothing else listed, it just goes to the end. This second one here, s dot substring, starting from 1, and then s dot length, which if my answer is race car is going to equal 7. What would 1 comma 7 give me? Ace car. So it starts at 1, 7 is the first one I don't want. So this just gave me the same value back. So it says for which values of s is the same value returned, only whenever s is a string with 1 character. Well, I just proved that one wrong, because race car has more than 1 character. For all string values of s, potentially, only whenever s has an odd number of characters. This one also happened to have an odd number, but if I had tacked another letter onto the end, would that have affected it? Would have still gone to the end, would have still gone to the end, but now this would have been 8. So that one's no good. For no string values of s, we obviously showed that it did give the same for something. And only for palindromes. Race cars actually is a palindrome. Race cars isn't, and race cars still worked, so that didn't work either. It's all string values, because there's nothing that would make s.length not be to the end of the method. Good still? Okay, last one. Consider the following 2 methods. We've got string s1 and string s2. One method returns s1.index of s2. The other returns s2.index of s1. For which values of s1 and s2 is the same value returned by both methods? Take a minute and think about this one. I don't know if everyone's got an answer or not, but I want to make sure we get through it before the end here. Make up an example again. You can kind of tell what's happening. S2 and S1, they want it to be within each other. So if I did like race car again and car, S1.index of S2, where is car in race car? It's that space 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would give me back 4. If I went the other way around, S2.index of S1 means where is race car in car. If it's not, the whole word race car is not in cars, what would that return? Yeah, sort of. What does it return when it means it's not in it? -1. So when would the same value be returned? Definitely not for all string values of S1 and S2, because we just proved it wrong there. Thinking about what this is doing, which option do you think it is? E, good. Whenever S1 is equal to S2, the only way it'd be in the same spot is if it was the same letter.